Hey guys, in today's video, I'm checking out the Swing Caddie SC300i launch monitor. Now, I've been told that this little launch monitor may actually change your golf game. So what we're going to be doing today is unboxing this bad boy and taking through all of its features and settings. Then we're going to take it out to the range to see what this little unit can do outdoors. And then finally, I'm going to be taking it indoors and putting it head to head with a $45,000 simulator. Let's take a look at what's inside this box. So here's the actual unit itself. Now, these are rubber USB slot protectors. Now, these make sure that no dirt or debris actually gets in the unit. There's a couple of open ports here, one being especially the charging port. So that's what those little rubber stoppers are. So we got the USB-C cable to help charge it. Little thank you gift from Swing Caddie, another user manual, the actual manual to the SC300i, and then this is the remote. Well, I think it's actually kind of cool to actually give you a remote. I love this thing because you can choose a lot of different settings on it instead of having to go over to the unit itself and, twitching it while you're at the range or in a simulator. Some of the things it allows you to do is it gives you volume, loft, the target. You can change out your clubs. It gives you driver or fairway or utilities, all your irons and your wedges. I think it's kind of cool. I probably won't be using it all that much because I have the app on my phone and on the iPad, and I'll just probably use it there. But it's really cool they actually give you a remote. Kind of a little bit old school there. All right, so let's actually check out the unit itself. So here's the front of the unit, here's the back of the unit. That's where the speaker is. Now this is where it helps stabilize the unit when it's actually on the ground. So here's the front of the unit, and we're going to be working from top to bottom and then left to right. So I can kind of explain to you all the settings. This top third is the practice or the target mode. You switch this by pushing the mode button up top. And then next is what club you're using, and then the loft of the club. And here it tells you the Bluetooth if it's connected, and then also your battery charging. Now, working in the middle, you have your carry, and then your swing speed is right here in miles per hour, and then the ball speed is in miles per hour as well. And then working from the bottom quadrant is the launch angle, which I think is really great for indoors because you can't really see where the ball is going. And this kind of shows you what your launch angle is, which is kind of cool, as well as your apex. And both of these are in feet. And then lastly is smash factor. Now I do want to note is that for indoor use, you're going to need to have the ball 6.5 feet from the net. And then the unit is going to be another 5 feet behind the ball for a total of about 11 to 11.5 feet from where the ball is to where the net is in order for the unit to actually pick up the shot. So now when you're outdoors, you're going to need this unit to be 5 feet behind you and it will work fine. And then lastly, I also kind of want to point out is that the unit itself has to be level with the ground. So if you're on an elevated platform, such as like a hitting mat at a golf range, and you're kind of like this and it's elevated, it's not going to be able to pick it up. So what you're going to have to do is find something such as a box, or what playbetter.com actually gives you like a little case that you can put it on top, which works even better. And this allows it to be elevated with the mat so that you don't lose the trajectory of the beam. And then, or if you're just on regular flat ground, it should be okay too. But just kind of want to point that out to you because if you don't do that, it won't register the shots. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the details on how to download the app, but all you have to do is look up the Swing Caddie app in the App Store and look for what's called My Swing Caddie app. Once you've found it and you've downloaded it, which may take a few minutes depending on your internet speed, you'll have it ready to go. Now the first step you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use your email address. Now for me it was kind of confusing because it said user ID. I didn't know what user ID meant. And so after spending about 15 minutes and looking on the internet, I realized that that is your email. So go ahead and you put your email address in there, and that's going to be your user ID. But you can also use your Facebook or Google ID as well to create an account. Now, once in the app, it might say that you're gonna have to do a firmware update. This took about 10 to 15 minutes for me. I was still at home when I did it, but be sure that if this is the first time you're using the app and the unit, that you do the firmware at home and not the golf course or somewhere else, because it does take some time for it to work and you're not gonna wanna stand there and wait forever. So just be aware that you're probably gonna do a firmware update as soon as you get the unit and the app paired together. So one thing I do wanna point out is that putting your clubs and the loft settings in the unit could be a little bit better. Now, some apps that I've used in the past will let you pick your brand name and clubs and it'll automatically do this for you. The SC300i does not automatically pick it up. So what I had to do was go to the PXG website, find my loft and lie, and then manually put it in the app. And the problem is with that is that the app didn't even have PXG as a manufacturer, which I thought was really weird, but they had all these obscure brands inside of it that I've never really heard of. So hopefully with a firmware update, they're gonna be changing this so that it's more automated or at least have more newer brands in the system. But it's just a small negative, I feel, but it's not a deal killer. And after about 10 minutes, not even that long, probably about 5 minutes of just adding all my lofts in, I was done, it was saved, and I was ready to go. So now let's take it out to the range. All right, guys, we are out at the range at the iconic Papago Golf Course, and we're going to be using range balls, so my numbers are going to be down from my normal shots. But the club I'm going to be using first will be my 7-iron, which I normally carry about 160 yards. And I'm aiming for that flag that's straight ahead and to the right. That is the 150-yard marker. So we're just going to see how accurate this unit really is. So this first shot, I pushed it a little to the right. The carry is showing about 157 yards, which is not too bad. And it's pretty close to where the flag is. So I'm actually pretty impressed that it did come in close. This next shot was dead on the money. The carry is showing 160.9 and with a rollout of 170, and that's pretty much where I normally hit my 7-iron. And it looked about 10 yards behind the flag. So I was pretty impressed that it was pretty close. So on this third shot, I tried to hit the 7-iron a little bit harder than normal to see if the SC300i would register the distance accurately. And the carry is showing 170 yards, which looks about right to me since I hit it harder this time. And it did carry a little bit farther than my previous shot. On this shot, I tried to hit the 7-iron a little lighter so I could see if the SC300i would actually register the distance a little accurately when I hit a lesser hit shot. Here the carry is showing 159 yards, which looks about right to me since I hit the ball softer this time and it landed just shy of the pin. So on this fifth shot, I actually switched clubs and now I'm using my 5-iron. And generally my carry on the 5-iron is about 175 yards. And I'm also not as accurate with this club as I am with the 7-iron. 174 yards. And here the carry is showing 174 yards, which is pretty close, and I was pretty impressed that it actually registered it. And on this last shot, it was pretty close too. The carry is showing on the money. It's showing about 176 yards, the rollout of 185. And all in all, that was pretty darn close. So definitely the SC300i is pretty accurate when you're out at the range. But the next real question is, how does this compare when we're indoors? So let's see how that turned out. So we're going to be trying 7-iron, compare the voice caddy to the simulator, and let's see how close these numbers are on carry.
137 yards.
137 on voice caddy, 140 on the sim.
Yards.
135 on the sim, 137 on the sim, 135 on the voice caddy.
151 yards.
151 on the voice caddy, 155 on the sim.
150 yards.
on the Boys Caddie, 154 on the Sim.
Yards.
163 on the Boys Caddie. 167 on the Sim.
Yards.
125 on the Swing Caddie. 127 on the Sim.
165 yards.
165. Boys Caddie. 165 on the Sim. To be honest, I was blown away as to the accuracy of the SC300i. I was not expecting that on average the unit was about 5 to 6 yards off from what a $45,000 simulator had, which is expected. Just not that close. I thought it'd be way, way, way more. So that is a huge win to me for the SC300i. I would highly recommend this to any one of you guys out there looking for an affordable launch monitor that's both accurate indoors and outdoors. It truly blows my mind what this little unit can do.